Hey, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Smatle for those that don't know me, and this video you're about to see I filmed a couple of months ago after I had a few late night conversations with some friends, just talking about where we feel we are in life and just the things we talked about. I felt like I needed to share with a few people, and so I grabbed my phone and filmed a video real quick. So you're about to see it. Obviously I didn't do an intro package, which is why I'm doing one now. Just introduce myself, and I hope you enjoy it. Please forgive like the bad lighting and stuff like that, but we'll get back on that soon. So I hope you enjoy this video, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. So if you know me, you know that I've been like an avid Christian for my whole life. Like, I always say that my dad has a picture of me in his Bible when I was like 3 or 4 and I was outside praying. Like, it's the most random thing for like a 4-year-old to just be in the yard praying, but he snapped that photo of me, and that's kind of just the trajectory that my life has been on. Like, I've always been someone who is connected to my faith in various ways, whether it's like the law and religion and like 10 commandments, or whether it's, you know, spirituality. That's just been who I've been. I've like been a youth leader. I've preached here, I've preached in the United States, I've preached in Cape Town at university. I've done it all. I've been paid for preaching. I've actually done a lot. So Christianity's been a huge part of my life, and it's interesting because I'm currently going through a phase where that's looking very different for me now. Still a Christian, still believe, but I'm going through what is known as a deconstruction phase in my Christianity, and I've been going through it for a while actually, and so I wanted to speak about it. In 2018 was my second year at university. 2018, I started going through, or maybe it's before 2018 if I'm actually being honest. I think when I got into university, I got in with a lot of disappointments. So I left high school, and if you knew me in high school, I was like captain of the Christian club, captain of debating, a prefect, like top 5 academically, like nje. I was doing a lot of things, and I think I had done all of those things with a certain expectation that it's going to get me somewhere in life, and obviously it didn't. So I had a plan for my life that I'm going to do this and become that and become that. And at the end of high school, when I didn't get the scholarship that I had applied for and that I had set my entire high school career on, I kind of felt this thing of like, what now? Like, I've done everything for nothing. Like, I did indoor hockey, field hockey, touch rugby, soccer. I did debating. I was starting Christian clubs. I was leading. I was doing everything you can. Like, if you ask me if I did something, I did it in high school because I was trying to be that overachiever. And a lot of the things I genuinely enjoyed. Like, I made provincial level for public speaking. It was things that I excelled at, but I also enjoyed it. But also in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, but this is getting me closer to my goal of this scholarship and this university and this, that. And so when the cookie started to crumble was when I didn't get the scholarship. And because I was so cocky, or not even cocky, but because everything I had planned had usually gone according to schedule, that like I didn't make a backup plan academically. It was this scholarship or bust. And it ended up being bust. So it was time to go to university, and chiggy, there's no finances, there's no but my parents made a plan, and I definitely saw my dad struggle but put me through university the first year. Until at the end of the first year I applied for financial aid, and I got that. But definitely that was the beginning of the crack. And then it cracked even more when I didn't get accommodation at my university. So now it's like, okay, things aren't going according to plan. And then it cracked even more when the accommodation I did get was very far, and so I had to travel very far. Like, if I can put it on a map for you, to get to school every day, I would have to get on a bus, and that bus would leave me in town, another bus to leave me on the town campus of my school, and then another bus to get me to school. So it was like a 30 to 45-minute journey every day. And if you miss one bus, it's over. Or if a bus comes late, then you've already missed the next bus, and you've already missed the next bus, and you're late for class. Guys, I can count on my hands the amount of times I was on time for class in first year. It didn't happen. Like, it didn't happen. Like, it didn't. And so it was very stressful. And in addition to that, I didn't make friends. Like, you walk into university with that expectation of, I'm going to make friends. I'm going to find the love of my life. Yeah, I'm gonna find the love of my life. I'm gonna do this, do that, academically be great. And there's like things didn't fall into place. Looking back now, first year was my worst academic year. I did not make friends. Like, I had one friend, and it was someone I've known since primary school, and she kind of just took me under her wing and, like, you know, accommodated me. I didn't, like, there were so many things that did not fall into place, but still I kind of hung on to my faith, and I used that as like a situation of like, okay, it's tough, but, you know, God is using this season, you know, all those Christianese things you use. So I got through it. And then by second year, when I got into res and I had financial aid, and I had more than one friend, it was a bit easier. But at the same time, for some reason, towards the end of the year, and it was when I got into a relationship at the end of the year, that like the cookie started to crumble. Like the whole year I was feeling kind of icky, like I don't really feel God, but you know that happens because you're a Christian. You just fast and pray and get through it and you're fine. But by the time it hit December and I wasn't feeling God, it's like it really hit. And in December, I went to the United States of America. It's a story for another day. But I went to visit my family who I had stayed with in the United States of America previously. And it's a very like sheltered Christian conservative home. And so I was like, this is going to be good for me, because this is going to put me back into that space that I need to be in order to, you know, reinvigorate my faith. Because that year I spent living in the United States was the best year of my life spiritually. I grew, I challenged myself, I was on fire for God. And so I told myself, okay, going back into this environment is going to be great, because it's going to put me back in that spiritual headspace to be able to, you know, reinvigorate my faith. And that didn't happen. Like, I went to the United States and I left the United States and it was still tense. And it was hard because everyone expected me to be the Smatle that was on fire, that was here a few years ago preaching, you know, to thousands of people. And I just wasn't that person. And I wanted to, but it wasn't connecting. Fast forward that whole year, guys, I tried everything. In 2019, I tried. You can't ask me one thing. All night prayers, fasting, praying, reading your Bible, camps, you laying of hands. There's not a thing I did not try in order to get, like, I had mentor on mentor on mentor. I approached so many different pastors. Like, it was this thing of like, I need to fix my relationship with God because I don't feel him. Like, I don't feel God. I just don't. And even though I didn't feel him, I'm like, but I know he's real. So make a plan, something has to happen. So 2019 was a whole year of me not feeling God, but me still avidly seeking him and trying to diagnose why I'm in this state and how do I get back to the person that I need to be. So that was my journey throughout 2019 until December came, guys. Things happen in December. Until December came. So December 2019, that was my third year and final year university. So the final year is, you know, and I'm smart. Like, I have always been an academic achiever. So this is the year I graduate. Everyone knows I'm graduating, you know. I had already gotten Golden Key, which is top 15% in the university. I had already been on Dean's List. Everyone knew all of this. Like, there were expectations. I had expectations on myself that I'm passing. And I passed, guys. I passed. I did pass. I passed. I got my marks. I did great. I got the A's I needed to get in my final year. And because I did politics and sociology, so those are my majors. So I got an A politics. I got an A in sociology. But as I was reading my transcript, it didn't say degree complete. And I was like, but what do you mean? Like, where? Because everyone's posting that one snippet of their transcript that says degree complete on Twitter. And I wanted to post two. Like, I wanted to be out there with the peeps. But mine just said academically eligible to continue. And I was like, but what does that mean? Where is the degree complete? Only upon further analysis to find out that that A I got for sociology was great, but I had done the wrong course.
What do you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I did the wrong course. I wrote an exam, I passed, I got an A, but it was the wrong sociology that I took, and no one told me. Like, no one informed me. The people who check your career, who check your curriculum did not catch the fact that I had registered for the wrong course that didn't fulfill the requirements for my major. So at that point, my university was like, well, you're not graduating. And I was like, what do you mean? And so that put me in a tailspin of like, I had set my identity on, I am smart, I am this, I am that, I am that. And to get to a point in which I am not graduating not because I failed, but because I just did the wrong course. No, nothing was cute, guys. And the worst part is, it's not like that happens when you on a good foundation of Christianity. If that had happened like in my matric year, or that had happened even in first year where I was still fine riding with God, like I think I would have gotten through it. But I've gone through a year and a bit of rockiness with God, of not feeling him, of like questioning my faith. And then God is like, you're not graduating. I was like, oh, I'm done. I was done. That was it. You know, in the Bible where it says Job, where Job's wife was like, why don't you just curse God and die? In my mind, I was like, it's time. Let me just curse God and be gone. Like, it was tense. So, yeah. And I'm laughing now because it's in retrospect, but there was nothing cute about it, because it wasn't just that I didn't pass, but it was also that things aren't aligning. Like, I don't have the financial means to redo this course, and it's not even like I can just do a summer course. It's not even like I can just invest the first semester of my next year into this course and then move on, or I can incorporate it into my next year. No, for the whole of 2020 I must go back to university and sit there and do nothing for the first semester and just wait to register in second semester to do this one course. So I must register 20,000 Rand to register to be in the university, and then pay an extra 8,000 Rand just for one course. And then I must still pay that 60,000 Rand for accommodation. I must still live and do nothing the whole year just to do one course in the end of the year to graduate. With whose money? How? Yeah. Tense. So it was the finances, it was the feeling like I'm wasting my time, it was the disappointment, it was the God, where were you? Like, God, you could have been there when I was signing up. Like, there was a lot of dynamics that were playing in, but at the end of the day, what happened was my Christianity fell. Like, I already was barely reading my Bible, I already was barely praying, but after that day, it was gone. It was gone. And it was around December 14th, around there, because I know my birthday is December 19th, so I had plans. And it, like, so that was the lowest point of my Christianity, was after I found that out. And yeah, it was tough. And since then, it's been tough. So we're in end of May, going to June now. And I'm at a better place because things worked out. Like, I was able to write a special exam, and I passed a special exam, and I got an exemption, and I am set to graduate in December. So things did work out, but it still didn't negate the fact that, like, but God, where were you? Like, it still didn't negate the fact that I was hurt. Like, even though I saw God's plan and I understood why that happened, I was still like, that doesn't negate the fact that my trust has been broken, that my heart feels hurt, that I am in a very tough spot right now. Like, I could make sense of what happened logically, but my heart was not okay. And so it's May right now. I think I can count on my fingers how many times I've read my Bible this year. I can count on my fingers the amount of times I've prayed this year. I can count on one hand the amount of times I've gone to church this year. Like, get it tense. It's tense. So that was my deconstruction phase. And what that means is that as a Christian, you are born, or as a human being, and it applies to faith, it applies to religion, it applies to politics, it applies to a lot of things. But in the context of faith, you are born into a certain household. So I'll use the analogy of a house. You are born into a certain house, and you have certain furnitures already put in that house by your family, by the people around you, by society, speaking words into you. So, you know, you have a black couch, you have a white table, you have pink walls, that's your house. And so you're born into a family that is Christian. You go to church, you believe the Bible, you believe it's bad to sin, you believe certain things, and that's just your construction. That's how you've been constructed. You haven't had much to say about that phase of your life. It's your construction phase. And then everyone goes through something called, or everyone is confronted with something called a deconstruction phase. Not everyone goes through it, but everyone is confronted with it. And so a deconstruction phase is when some aspect of something happens in your life, whether it's you go to university and they start asking questions that make you question your belief system, that make you start questioning your Christianity, whether it's you go through a life experience like someone passes away, or something heavy happens in your life and that makes you question God and question your religion, or like me, you just go through a phase where you just you just naturally fall into deconstruction just because like you just feel like God isn't there anymore for no tangible reason. But that's a deconstruction phase. Not everyone goes through it. Some people like the furniture in their house. You know, some people like the black couch and the white table and the pink walls, and they stick to that, and that's fine. That's your life story. Like, but there are other people who decide, who wake up one day and are like, I don't like pink walls, and so they chip away at the paint. I don't like black couches, and so they remove that. And that's the deconstruction phase where you're dismantling the beliefs, you're dismantling what you've been socialized to believe, and that's on you. That's not a decision made by external factors. That's a decision you make to deconstruct your life, and deconstruct your faith. And then a lot of people, for a lot of people, it ends there. They deconstruct and they decide Christianity is not for them. They deconstruct and decide they're walking away from their faith. Or people deconstruct and decide, okay, I still want to live in this house. I may not like the pink walls, I may not like the black furniture, but I still want to live in this house. And so they enter the reconstruction phase where they start to reconstruct their Christianity and their life in a different way that makes more sense to them. Whether that's now they have white walls or now they have brown furniture, that's dependent on them, but that's the reconstruction phase. And so I'm currently in the end of my deconstruction phase. I can feel that I'm getting towards the end of that, but there's still so much to unpack, and there's still so much to understand and to heal through in order to get to my reconstruction, because I've decided for myself that God is real, God is good, and I want God. And so I need to figure out a way to reconstruct and build a house that makes sense for me. And so if you feel like that relates to you, and you can identify with being in one of those phases, whether it's construction, reconstruction, deconstruction, whichever one it is, but if you feel like you can relate to having gone through or currently going through one of those phases, then come along and journey with me as I discuss in more depth what it looks like, what the Bible says about it, whether it's a sin or not to question your faith. And it's not going to be like a super theologically heavy journey. It's just going to be chatting and discussing. And I know a lot of people in my life who are going through one of those phases, and I'm going to bring them along. We'll talk about it. We'll get their experiences from a realistic perspective of like what deconstruction has looked like for them. Because I know a lot of people who have stepped away from their faith, who deconstruction has meant, you know, starting to drink and starting to have sex and starting to rationalize what that means for their Christianity. And I want to engage in all those topics. I want to talk about what it looks like to be a Christian and be 23. Like, to be a Christian who's studying politics and who has to engage on matters of colonialism and what it means for God to say he loves all of his people, but then also to let black people suffer the way that they do. What it means to be someone who is Christian, but also, you know, wants to be in like romantic relationships and wants to drink alcohol and wants to do all of this kind of stuff. Like, what it entails being a Christian at this age in this time. How I've navigated, how my friends have navigated deconstruction, and what our reconstruction phases are going to look like. So that's what we have in store. I'll probably be dropping once a week. So definitely, if you can relate, or if you just want to know more about these topics, then hit that subscribe button, like, share the video with people, and let's journey together. Definitely we'll get more into the depths of what it looks like to walk this Christian life realistically, because I don't want to put on a picture of Christianity that's perfection, of someone that reads their Bible every day, of someone that, you know, is a perfect Christian, because we're not. And I don't want people to feel like just because you sin or you do things that, you know, don't look like the perfect image of Christ, that you can't be a Christian and can't, you know, say that boldly, because you can. So we're just going to journey through that together. So definitely like, subscribe, comment, share, and do pop in some notes in like the comments, or send me a DM if you want me to tackle a topic. So yeah, thank you guys. Catch you next time.